Based out of Metro Phoenix, SanTan Brewing Company has been quickly expanding since the opening of its brew pub in 2009. By 2014, it had expanded its footprint to Texas, New Mexico, and Southern California. To help beat the heat, SanTan offers a seasonal beer, the SanTan Shandy. However, can this grapefruit offering truly refresh your body? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. The Shandy is a spring seasonal beer, available between February and April, paving the ground for the company's lighter lime leaf seasonal summer beer. Is it a solid entry into the growing Shandy category though? Let's find out.
What up, guys? Yeah, we have the SanTan Shandy here. We're going to give it a whirl. And if you haven't checked out our reviews before, we do it a little differently. We don't look at the color of the beer. We don't rate that at all. I kind of feel like I've never turned down a beer for the color before, so we just we jump right over that. So we might look at it a little bit, but we're not going to rate the beer and knock it down for the color. Instead, we rate it on 6 different categories. It's smell, taste, value for price, distinction, drinkability, and would I buy it again. Kind of feel like those different points are the best for determining how good is it, do you want to buy it for the value, and how good does it stand up against other beers in the category. And for this one, it'd be the Shandy. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now I am interested that the Shandy is a spring beer here. Most other places, a Shandy is going to be a summer beer, simply because a Shandy by default is essentially half beer, half juice, or a soda or something. Because you'll see a lot of lemon Shandies, which is basically just lemonade and beer. This is grape, so it's going to be a heavy grapefruit beer. So yeah, all right, we got it poured. Let's get to the smell. Very crisp. You can get the bubbles a little bit on your nose. It's got a little bit of like a squirt in the soft drink. Like if you were to mix a squirt with a Hefeweizen. That's kind of what this is smelling like right now. Definitely the grapefruit. It is definitely more of the bitter grapefruit versus the sweeter lemon. But I like that. It's not overly lemonade. I think a lot of the Shandies that you find right now, it just smells like lemonade and like country time lemonade. So it's just like a bunch of sugar mixed in. I like this. It doesn't taste too sweet, which is my big knock on some of the Shandies that are out there. It's just, pretty much just, lemonade and an okay wheat beer. This tastes like it's going to be a little better than that, so I'm going to recommend it on the smell, simply because it's not just a whole bunch of a sugary beverage mixed with beer. But, alright, so let's get into the taste. Very strong grapefruit, definitely. I think it has the most overwhelmingly authentic grapefruit taste I've ever had. I've had other grapefruit beers before, and it has kind of a little bit of grapefruit, but really kind of heavily carbonated. So it is more of like a squirt soft drink. It doesn't have the bitterness that a grapefruit has that maybe an orange or a lemon doesn't. This really tastes like they just wrung in grapefruit juice, and very interesting. Also, originally I was questioning, it's a Shandy, why is it a spring beer? Because normally that's a summertime beer. I totally get that after tasting it now. It tastes like a spring beer, which is a little kind of breaking out of the winter beers, a little more bitter, a little more robust, and getting into the lighter beers, that's what this tastes like. It tastes like a spring beer mixed with, really just straight grapefruit juice. It is, I'm enjoying it actually. There's the grapefruit does mask a lot. There's almost a nutty, a nutty ale flavor in there. I almost want to say a hint of black licorice. I don't like black licorice, but that it's not so like extreme that it knocks anything down from it. It's actually very very minimal. I think there's just a hint of that kind of darker, bitter level of sweetness in here. So it is really just kind of like a nut brown spring beer with a little bit of that black licorice flavor, just a hint, and fresh grapefruit juice. So it is very much a spring beer shandy, and I can't say I've ever had one before. Sorry about the blue ink. I was changing ink cartridges in the printer, but yes, I'm gonna recommend the flavor. It is different. I enjoy where they're going with this. It's a nice blend of the spring and the shandies, so I'm gonna recommend it on taste. And now value for price. This is micro brew through and through. It's only available in 4 different states in the Southwest, and the 4th state in California. You're only gonna find it in like Los Angeles down through San Diego. Anything higher than that, and it's just not in there. I mean, California has a gazillion, micro brews, so it's a little easier to influx into everything else. But as for value for price, it is. I'm trying to think what I bought a single. I think the 6-pack is about $8.99, $9, right in there. It might be a little more, but it's about right there. It's a fair price for a micro beer. It's not, it's pretty much what you're gonna find for a regional micro beer. If you go with a larger micro beer like a Bell's or an Anchor or something of that variety, you're gonna find those cheaper just because they're a little more mass produced and easier to find everywhere. This is a little different, so I think it's an average price. It's not super cheap, but it's not over the top. So I'm gonna give it a half. If it was just a fraction less, I'd give it the full value for price. It is a good beer for the price, but it's not like it doesn't jump out as wow. That's a fantastic. I gotta buy it just for the price and check it out. But it's a half. I almost want to give it that full price, but it is a little more costly than I'd like. But it is what it is. But all right. So we go distinction. How distinct is it? How different is it from other shandies? And I have to say, I have never had another shandy like this before. It is totally different from any other shandy I've had, which is why I like it. It's not overly sweet. It is the perfect blend of the shandy and a spring beer. So I'm gonna recommend it on distinction. There's just nothing else that I've had like that before. And I think on the video it looks almost a little redder than what it is. It looks more like apple cider. It's got that kind of a shade to it in real life. It's kind of it's more like an apple cider. But so I'm gonna recommend it on distinction. Drinkability. All right, I gotta get another sip of this real quick. Drinkability. I'm gonna recommend it for drinkability as well. It's crisp but not sweet. It's definitely. Take this into consideration. You really need to be okay with grapefruit. It's not just the citrusy element of the grapefruit, and which some shandies have, and that's it. It is the whole. It's all really every part of the grapefruit. It's the bitter. It's got that bitter flavor that some people gotta dip their grapefruit in sugar because it's too bitter. If you're that person and you just can't deal with the grapefruit, this might not be the kind of shandy for you. And if you don't like spring beers, this probably isn't the beer for you. But for me, with distinction, with everything, with drinkability, I enjoy it. I could drink more of these. It's not something I'd probably drink the whole 6-pack for, but it's something I could sit down and have a couple without a problem. Really enjoy it, especially as the weather starts to get warmer. So yes, I'm gonna recommend it on drinkability. And the last category is, would I buy it again? And I do think yes, I'd buy it again. Now I usually, I'm originally from Michigan, and spring essentially lasts a day or two. It kind of goes from fall to summer, not fall to winter to summer. But I enjoy what they've done with this. This is something I think if people came to visit, I'd be like, dude, check this out. It's pretty interesting. I think when I go back home to Michigan, I'm going to take some of this with me and be like, dude, check it out. It's pretty legit. So yeah, I'm going to recommend it on would I buy it again. And so, overall, I'm giving this a 5.5 out of 6. So close on the 6. Maybe if I see this on sale, I'll come back and revisit the review and knock it back up. But yeah, that is my review on the SanTan Shandy. I'm very surprised with it. I'm very much enjoying this beer, and I highly recommend if you're in the Southwest, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and Southern California, check it out if you get a chance to. But yeah, that's the review. If you like it, like us, subscribe to us. We got a whole bunch of different kinds of videos. We have good beer, really, really bad beer reviews. And you can follow our podcast at 2 Dudes in a 6-Pack. You can get us at Twitter at 2 Dudes Podcast. And so yeah, that's about it. So for myself, Grayson, and for the dude, Chris, take it easy.